For 2025, the Alfa Romeo Tonale is getting a nice price reduction. Not the model I'm in the Tributo, which costs just shy of $60,000. It has active suspension. It's got the very sophisticated plug-in hybrid powertrain. We got a few nice amenities in here as well. But today I'm going to tell you guys what I like about this small subcompact crossover that we have built in Naples, Italy. Ironically, I live in Naples, Florida, so it's kind of I know, a little multiverse action going on with this Alfa Romeo Tonale. So let's start with the powertrain first and foremost. The engine fired up, and even though I was in the advanced efficiency mode. So we have a small, I want to say it's around 1.3 liter turbo 4-cylinder, absolutely tiny. This engine's built in Poland. This little turbo motor is connected to a 6-speed Aishin transmission. Now Aishin is a Japanese transmission provider, but that transmission is actually built in Italy for this vehicle. On some of the turbo gear here, as a part of Stellantis, you'll see Mopar. It's reducing the engine revs there. Now I don't have to yell, but you're going to see Mopar parts on this, and Mopar branded things like the battery, the brake calipers here in a second. This is a Stellantis product. So the engine with the electric assist, it's a little bit more than the non-plug-in hybrid. The non-plug-in hybrid, instead of the Aishin 6-speed, it trades that for a 9-speed, and it gives you a different engine. I believe it's a 2-liter turbo. It doesn't have quite as much power combined with the electric hybrid things of this, but it is a very fun car to drive. Watch my Hornet review. So that's what's new for 2025 is an all-wheel drive non-hybrid model with a 2-liter turbo. That's going to be a lot of fun to drive, and it's going to reduce the price on this Alfa by something like $10,000. More times than not, I'm going to say just go ahead and skip this plug-in hybrid. This plug-in hybrid, it's 10 grand more. It's going to get you 30 miles of electric range, but that's not that much electric range. And as a result, even though it gives you more power and it gives you a fully electric rear-wheel drive response, because the motor up front doesn't power the front wheels, the electric motor only powers the rear wheels. It just it doesn't seem quite as lively in some aspects as the 2-liter that I've driven, not in this particular model, but it's twin, and the Hornet, which is also built in Naples, Italy. It's going to cost less. What else was I going to say about it? Oh, because the range is so limited here, only 30 miles of range, 31 if you're lucky. I didn't see that much. I saw like 26 miles of range, but a lot of that was on the highway. But yeah, I'm gonna say go ahead and skip the plug-in hybrid unless you get a crazy deal. And there are deals to be had on this model, leftover 24s, which was exclusively the plug-in hybrid. We have those traditional revolver style or lotus petal or flower, whatever you want to say, but the 5 barrels here is just beautiful. One of the most iconic wheel designs in the entire industry. You get the huge Alfa brakes up front, but what gets me, so we come to the back, red calipers, but then it says Mopar brake pads. So, hey, you know, reduced costs makes things a little bit, in theory, more affordable for us to get our hands on more models. All right, parts sharing. Oh, this is where you charge the car. Charges from 0 to full in 2 to 3 hours for me on my level 2. So everyone's level 2 is probably going to be a little bit different. Let's go to the back. I love the beautiful tail lights here. A light bar bisected by the Alfa badge, beautiful dual exhaust. It's not trying to pretend that it's an efficiency car. I would say it's a performance hybrid, but it can be very efficient if you're driving it on just electric. If you're not driving it on electric, I'm seeing about 25 miles per gallon if you run out of electrons. All right, so there's your level 1 charger that comes with the vehicle. You also have a 12 volt here, a couple lights on each side, a pass-through, and folding seats. So let's go ahead and close the hatch, open up the rear, and see, like, I love there's a lot of detail and Easter eggs in here. You can see the Serpent, the Alfa Serpent with a plug-in here, because obviously it's a plug-in hybrid. Materials are cheap here. That is unfortunate. Down here, super, super nice. So anyways, let's keep moving. I really appreciate these seats. These leather seats feel great. They're comfortable. There's your pass-through we were talking about. And can they recline? And the answer is no. That is unfortunate. How comfortable is it to me since it doesn't recline? Well, I feel like I'm super upright. I wouldn't actually want to be in here too long. Now I have the headroom, and I like that Alfa did that because maybe my headroom would be diminished if this was a full panel roof. This is like a half panel roof, and I like it. So anyways, USB-C, USB-A, we have the vents back here. That's great to have. Mat pockets on each side. Decent amount of legroom, and your batteries are going to, if I remember correctly, the batteries are kind of in the center tunnel where you would have a drive shaft going, let's say on the non-plug-in hybrid model. So that's where the batteries are, and under the rear seat. So we have centralized weight distribution here of those plug-in hybrid batteries, and it does, well, where those batteries are definitely the vehicle never seems too heavy. So let's get in the front seat. We have smart key access here. I also love this Verde Fangio metallic, Virgo Fangio. Harman Kardon sound system. We have memory seats here on this top model. We have folding mirrors. That might be the smallest button I've ever seen for folding mirrors. Vents in here, I haven't had any problems with heating or AC this week. Just keep in mind, your range is going to go down. Oh, I'm back in N here. See if I go to advanced efficiency, that killed the engine. If it's cold out, don't try running your battery. Your battery is just not very efficient running the car and running the heat. So I just go into N mode or D mode if I want to get that heat into the cabin pretty quickly. I love the climate control buttons here, real simple. Everything shows up on this screen. I like this screen. My Apple Car, I forgot my phone at home, but it does have wireless Android Auto. We have heated steering wheel and heated seats. Now these seats are perforated, but there's no ventilation despite them being some perforated seats. Gotta love the sigil here, the Alfa sigil, Italian flag, Tributo Italiano, so Italian tribute. So it's like the special Italian edition car. This also lights up at night. Looks good. I like the digital screen here. It is quite customizable for my liking. So you can change the center screen. Yes, my tire pressure is low. It's that time of year where it gets cold enough for the tire pressure sensor to get triggered. So you can have fuel efficiency here. You can have maps there, all that good stuff. And then on this screen, it's also customizable. Trip A, so again, 25 miles per gallon is what I'm seeing when I don't use electric assist. So it's when I'm out of charge, 25 miles per gallon. I got about 26 miles of pure electric. Oh, also there's an eSave technology. So let's talk about this. eSave, which if I press the button here, it doesn't do anything. Well, it starts the engine, but like it doesn't necessarily get me to the eSave menu, and that's okay. I don't want that to be popping up every time, but you can see the engine's working as a generator to charge up the battery here. 40 miles, if I remember correctly, it took me about 40 miles of being an eSave to charge the battery back up. Now it won't go full battery. Let me show you. This is one of the gripes I have with this screen, is this arrow is so small. It's hard for me to hit it sometimes. So eCharge, you can choose it to keep the battery topped off. Let's say you charged it in Italy or something, you're not allowed to use internal combustion in a certain city or a certain city center. So you can do battery safe, so you have battery charge when you get into places where you're not supposed to run the engine. Here in America, it doesn't matter that much. But anyways, if you want to charge the battery, it gives you 3 different levels, and it tops off at 80% of battery charge. So I'm at 29 miles. 100% is 31 miles, I believe, according, let's see here, what does it say here? It says 33 miles. 33 miles would have to be like some pretty slow in-town driving, not running heat, not running AC too hard. That's probably best case scenario for this car. This car's not about efficiency, it's about having efficiency while also being fun to drive. It kind of reminds me of an ant just fell on me. All right, so shall we spare his life? There he goes. I could still end up running over him though. It reminds me of the Civic Hybrid, that it has good efficiency, but it's about a performance hybrid. This is the same thing. Even though it's a plug-in hybrid, it's not just about getting the most miles per electrons or most miles per gallon. This steering wheel is way too hot for me right now. Let's turn that off. Let's turn the heated seat off, roll the windows down a little bit. But this is how you start the car. I always get a kick out of that. It's in the, no other car does that unless it's maybe an Italian car. I like the traditional shifter. This is a tricky thing when I'm in drive. This is my perspective. so I can't see the volume knob. So you just kind of have to feel for it. And then the volume, scrolly wheels right over there. Wireless charger, 12 volt if you need it. Emergency brake, here's your e-save functionality, which is on right now. I'm gonna take that off for the drive. Parking assist, well, this will actually help you park. I hate those features, so I'm not gonna use that. And you also have the parking sensors on a vehicle of this size. It's typically found in most luxury vehicles, which this is. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and start driving the Tributo Italiano of the Tonale from Alfa Romeo. We're gonna start in the advanced efficiency mode. This allows you to drive exclusively in electric. Even if you floor it, it doesn't kick in the gasoline engine. I personally have not been driving in this mode until today. That is a loud blinker, so I'm gonna turn that off. And that's another thing, this vehicle's blinkers. Oh shoot, that's the thing. I'm not in the tallest vehicle and the hedges need to be trimmed. All right, let's keep moving. So the blinkers here, they return to center, and it drives me nuts because if I want to cancel it, sometimes I trigger the opposite blinker or turn indicator. So it's, you know, the Lexus RC and the Lexus IS also have this sort of return to center blinker, and so it also makes it difficult to put on the 3 blink turn indicator. But okay, so let's go ahead. All right, so we're gonna push it through the turn a little bit, and this is where it feels better than 99%. I'm floored right now, by the way. We have around 100 horsepower out of that rear motor. It's nothing crazy. I already put on the screen for you guys what combined what it is versus the non-plug-in hybrid, but I think the rear motor is perfect for driving around town. It's definitely not enough power for freeway driving, and nor is like a plug-in hybrid really meant for freeway driving a whole lot. Plug-in hybrid's really meant for mixed usage cases. So I ran out of electric range after about 26 miles on the highway, and maybe 5 miles of that was city leading up to the highway. So it's just not going to be what you want to be driving in for long distances. So I'm going to get out of the electric mode because this vehicle really comes alive with a gasoline engine. Italians are great at building engines and fun to drive engines. So let's go ahead and use our paddle shifters here. We have 6-speed auto, remember? And it does tell me my gear. I'm in 3rd right now. Yeah, it gets, geez Louise. It's sneaky, you know, because this, I don't know if you saw in the engine bay, there's a lot of insulation. So this engine's actually really quiet, even at full tilt, even when it's screaming. And the engine just shut off now because you don't need to be in advanced efficiency mode for the car to drive in electric. It'll intelligently drive in electric, and it drives in electric more times than not, as long as it has sufficient charge in the natural mode or the N mode. So this is the mode I've been driving in, because if you need that power, it'll wake up the engine for you, and it'll give you about two to 3 times more power chipping in to help that electric motor in the rear. So it kind of feels sort of like Toyota's hybrids that have the 6-speed auto with it. So if you look at like a Toyota Crown sedan that has the Platinum Hybrid Max, this feels very similar to the Hybrid Max. Not as fast, but kind of like a shrunk down version. You have a lot of power coming to the rear axle. You have a lot of power just going to the front wheels with that electric. I guess there's a small electric assist up there mainly. So if we go back to here, but mainly the wheels are being powered up front by the gasoline engine. So we go back to my car. I think it's these small arrows that get me. I'm driving all over the road. Power flow. So if I go back to e-save here, it's on. The engine should be kicking on, but maybe I haven't ran the battery down enough for the engine to kick in. Anyways, it'll show here that there's an additional, there you go. I just had to put my foot down. You can see this generator motor here. So the gasoline engine turns the generator motor, which then charges the battery. We get some airflow in here. It's real easy. I love this climate control. Is it as good as the knobs? No, I'd probably rather have knobs, but this is clean and it's pretty pleasing to the eye here. But it's good to have physical buttons instead of touch capacitive or any of that bull malarkey. But yeah, I like keeping the screen up if I'm not in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, because I'm a hybrid nerd, so I like seeing what the battery's doing, what the engine's doing, which motor's doing what. Let's talk about ride quality in here. Well, I've barely driven this vehicle this week. I've probably put on like 100 miles. And once you get in here, you're kind of used to it. The seat does get a bit butt numbing after a while because I picked my parents up from the airport. But my legs are just too big and my butt's too big for these seats. I feel like maybe they're meant for smaller people. I just feel too big in them. I know it's a smaller car, but yeah, the seats feel too small for me. The back cushion is comfortable. The ride quality here is definitely on the sporty end. With adaptive dampers, like it can stiffen up a lot in the D mode here, which you can see the dampers are now tighter. And I also get more aggressive engine braking there. I forgot that was a thing because I haven't been in D mode all week because I just haven't been pushing it hard. But the ride quality here, it's good. It's a good mix between sporty and comfort. My dad was really impressed with the ride quality when we were on the highway. It's not the quietest car on the highway. Sometimes you get some rattles here and there, I'll be honest, when you're going fast on the highway. But let's see here. Yeah, I don't have acoustic glass on this. So to put things in comparison, I've been driving my Honda Odyssey all day long. I just came back from Disney, and this car's leaving today, so I had to review it real quick. Immediately I noticed that this ride is much more bumpy and loud compared to a Honda Odyssey, which really prioritizes comfort and luxury. This prioritizes, I would say, sport performance over luxury. The design here is more luxury focused on the outside especially, but when you drive it, especially in neutral mode, it just strikes that good balance of performance and comfort. So we have a green light up here. Gosh, the engine braking's strong. And also the gears, it'll start downshifting too to assist with the electric motor engine braking. I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I haven't done a lot of research. I don't believe there's a one-pedal driving in this car, which some plug-in hybrids offer. Like if you look at Volvo's plug-in hybrids, really good one-pedal driving. Even when you're not driving in electric mode, they have one-pedal driving in hybrid mode, which is, I love that. So anyways, let's go ahead, and we're still in D mode. We have the stiff dampers on. Let's see what's happening. I'm gonna beat this real quick. Oh, there we go. Holy hell. Totally different car in dynamic mode. Oh, it gives you so much more torque to the rear wheels. That is fantastic. You know, I don't have a lot of turns here in Florida. This is what you get. So unless you catch a green light, a green arrow, or you just get lucky, you can time your turns and throw the vehicle in there quite well. I love the suspension on here when you're pushing it. And even in the N mode, but it feels even better in the D mode. Of course, it gets tighter. There's less body roll, but man, even the N mode, when you throw it around the corner, it just feels like the suspension is tuned and designed by a racing team. As much as I love plug-in hybrids, with the limited range here, I'm seeing less than 30 miles of electric range. It just might be more tedious to own this car than the gas model. You gotta be plugging it in minimum daily, unless you don't drive it, then whatever. But if it's just sitting in the garage and you drive it seldomly, then yeah, you can probably not be annoyed by plugging this thing in all the time. There's a Tonali right there. What are the chances? Anyways, I'm going to shut it down there. I like this car. I think it would be perfect if it had like 50 miles of electric range, but it's going to add more weight to this car. So in terms of driving dynamics, I love how this car drives. I love the torquiness. I love that rear wheel shove from that electric motor. I like the minimal weight. I think this has a 15.5 kilowatt hour battery, so driven plug-in hybrids with 18 to 20 kilowatt hour batteries, and then you start feeling the noticeable weight. I don't really feel it in here. Maybe it's the suspension tuning in here that's just so good overall, but throwing in the turns, it's good. And yeah, I think I've lost my train of thought a lot. I've been haven't had a lot of sleep this week, so I'm just gonna end the review there. Unless you can get a screaming deal on the plug-in hybrid, just get the 2-liter turbo. The performance on that and the Hornet RT that I drove was great. It handles great. It looks good. It's not going to be very efficient, if I remember right, but it'll be fun to drive. If you want a sexy subcompact crossover that stands out of the crowd and gives you now a choice of powertrains, I mean, the Alfa Romeo Tonale is just, it's an absolute pleasure to drive. If you have some, ooh, that Ram almost got smashed. If you have some curvy roads around you, this thing would just be a pleasure. If you don't have the curbs around you, you're looking for ways to push this car's capabilities. And this car's easy on the eyes as well. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Alpha, thank you for sending this out to me. Hopefully I get a chance to drive the non-plug-in hybrid version to compare and contrast to see if my recommendation really is the way to go over this plug-in hybrid, unless you get a good deal. So anyways, I'm just like running in logical circles. There's a nice Focus ST. Oh, it was a CX-70, so I did correct myself with the CX-70 there. Anyways, thank you for watching. Signing out from the Tonale Italiano, Tributo Italiano. Probably butchered it a million times. Thank you. Peace.